Hello and welcome to this lecture. And in this lecture, we will go ahead and create a final contact form to one of our web pages. So let's say you want to have a contact form over here so that your users or your readers were able to reply on your new site. So let's actually go ahead and go into the same post page which we have over here. And we first need to go right after the actual row for the post ends. So if you click over here, this is where the row actually starts for an individual post. So if I scroll down a little bit, this is where the div actually ends. So now in order to create a contact form, we will have a separate row over here. So I'll just go ahead and create a row over here. And this row, as usual, is going to have certain number of columns. So let's say if you want to create a contact form wherein the user enters his name and email and has a submit button. So first of all, you need to include certain columns inside this row. So I'll create div class equals column dash md dash 12. Let's say your form actually spans the entire available space on a medium device, on a small device as well. So I'll just go ahead and this div over here, and in here I can start creating an actual form. So I'll type in div class equals h5. So that's going to be contact form. And now I'll add a horizontal line over here as well using the HR tag. Now if I save the code, go back to the actual page over here. So let me close this one in order to avoid confusion. And if I hit refresh, as you can see, we have a contact form over here. But let's say if you want to have some sort of margin, so you can use the margin top class for this row. So let's type in empty-5 so that it's going to leave some margin for us. So now if we hit refresh, as you can see, now we have some margin. So now let's go ahead and start building the form right away. So we use a form tag to create a form, and the first thing which we do is that we create a form group. So div class is going to be form group, and once we have this form group, we are going to use the same form group for each individual input element. So as we only want to accept the name and email, we will have two form groups, and now we can start creating a label and an input type over here. So I'll just go ahead and create a label which says name. And right after that, we will create an input field over here by typing input type equals, that's going to be text, and make sure to add a class which is called as form-control. And let's say the placeholder for this is going to be enter name. Make sure to end that over here, and we are good to go. So now once we have this form group with a label and an input type, I will simply copy that and paste it over here as well. And I'll just change the name to email. I'll just change the input type to email as well. Class for form control remains the same, and this thing is going to say enter the email. And right when the two input fields end, we now need to add a submit button. So the button type is going to be submit. Class for this is going to be btn-danger, and we type some text like submit. So creating a form was pretty much quite easy. So now if we go back over here, as you can see, we now have a nice looking form over here. But as you can see, the form looks pretty weird because we don't want this form to be of a full width when we display it on a desktop. So we can just go ahead and change this thing to, let's say, column-md-6. So now it's going to only take a little bit of horizontal space instead of spanning the entire space. So now if I hit refresh, the form, as you can see, still looks pretty weird because it's larger than it actually needs to be. So let's say we want to make it span only 4 columns. So now if I go back over here and hit refresh, as you can see, it spans only 4 columns. And even if I reduce the width, as you can see, unless the screen size drops to like small, it still spans the entire width. But let's say at this particular point on the medium sized device, you want to make it span the entire column. So for that, what we can do is that we can just make this for a larger screen size. So let's say for larger screen size, we have col-lg-4. For a medium device, we want to make it span all the 12 columns, so on and so forth. So now if you go back over here, hit refresh, as you can see, now it spans only a portion, And when the screen size actually drops at this point, now it spans the entire available space, which is the 12 columns. So that's it for this lecture, and that's it for this section. I hope you guys were able to create this very nice looking Bootstrap website on your own. This is not actually our site, this is the site which we are talking about. So as you can see, this is a completely responsive website, and I hope you guys realize how easy it is to create a responsive website with Bootstrap. So we have not even used a single bit of CSS in here, but still we were able to design the site in very less time. So what you can do as a homework is that you can try to build your very own portfolio sites taking inspiration from this particular site, and you can post your screenshot of the website in the Q&A section so that I'll be able to have a look. So thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Thank you.